Okay, we have Geometry Notes 11.6, and our objective today to find the surface area and volume of a sphere. Geometry Notes 11.6 are just talking about the sphere, surface area and sphere volume. So a sphere is the set of all points in space equidistant from a given point called the center. A radius is a segment that has one endpoint at the center and the other endpoint at the sphere. A diameter is a segment passing through the center with endpoints on the sphere. So keep in mind the radius is the green here, and the diameter is the red, going from point to point all the way across. And it's a diameter when it goes through the center. Okay. Now, when a plane and a sphere intersect in more than one point, the intersection is a circle. Okay. If the center of the circle is also the center of the sphere, it is called the great circle. So the great circle here is this black mark here. And if I want you to think about it, it's the equator, okay, of whatever sphere we're working with. Here, if I have a cross-section of a plane and a sphere coming in contact, its cross-section is a circle as well. Now, the circumference of a great circle is the circumference of the sphere itself. So keep that in mind. Great circle and circumference of the sphere have the same distance around. And then a great circle divides the sphere into two hemispheres. So there I have the northern and southern hemispheres, so to speak, as we talk about. But the great circle does the division of the hemispheres. Now, when I'm finding the surface area of a sphere, the surface area of a sphere is 4 times the product of pi and the square of the radius of the sphere. So I got surface area is 4 pi r squared. So that pi r squared is the area of the great circle, and there are 4 great circles that'll cover the surface of the sphere. Now, what is the surface area of the sphere in terms of pi and rounded to the 10th? Well, if I'm given a diameter, I've got a radius of 5 as I come in, and I take my formula, surface area is 4 pi r squared, I plug r in for r5, and I get 100 pi in terms of pi. But I can also use my pi key in my calculator and get 314.2 meters squared. In a diameter of 14, I want you to turn off the tape and try it yourself. Okay, welcome back. Now, again, it was a diameter, so half of 14 is 7. So when you plug that in, 7 is your radius, so 7 squared times 4 is 196 pi inches squared in terms of pi. And then I use my calculator key, I get 615.8 inches squared. Now, when we're doing these problems, you should be able to plug information into the formula and solve for missing pieces. Like if the Earth's equator is about 24,902 miles long, what is the approximate surface area of the Earth? So, and I want you to round to the nearest 1,000 square miles. So first, I got to do circumference of my Earth's equator, 24,902. So I take my 24,902 equal 2 pi r, and I'm going to divide by 2 pi on both sides. Be careful when you do this in the calculator. You got to divide by 2 pi with 2 pi inside parentheses if you do it together. You may take 24,902 divided by 2 and that result divide by pi, but either way you should get 3,963.27. These extra dots mean that I've got extra value in my calculator I'm going to hold there. So now, that's my radius. And I got the radius of that circumference of the sphere. Now I'm going to use that radius as surface area. So I plop that into r, and I got 4 pi r squared. Okay, so I squared this in my calculator, multiplied by 4 pi, and I'm able to come up with 197,387,017.5 square miles. But I'm supposed to round to the nearest 1,000 square miles, and the nearest 1,000 is 7,000. So my answer is 197,387,000 miles squared. I would like you to do a similar problem, doing the same steps. I would like you to try it by yourself first, and then turn on the video and see how well you did. Okay, welcome back. We've got, what is the surface area of a melon with circumference 18? So the circumference of 18 seems like, wow, how tiny compared to the 24,902 miles, but same process. Round your answer to the nearest 10 square inches. So I got C equals 2 pi r, and I got 18 for C, and I'm looking for r. So I go 18 divided by 2 divided by pi, and I get 2.8647 in my calculator is equal to r. I use that radius to help me find the surface area of a sphere. surface area is 4 pi r squared. So r is 2.8647. I plop that in, I square it, and I get my answer for surface area is 103.13. Now I'm supposed to round this to the nearest 10 square inches. Well, the nearest 10 is 100 inches squared. So that's my answer for this problem in number 3. We've done surface area, and the next thing to do is volume. In volume, for a sphere, the volume of the sphere is 4/3 the product of pi and the cube of the radius of the sphere, which is volume is 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is the radius. Now, when we're doing these problems, be careful. If you're just shoving in numbers, you got to make sure that you're shoving in the right numbers. So write down your formula, volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Find r and cube it because it's volume. Volume's cubed, area is squared. And we got 6 cubed, and we evaluate on a calculator, and we're supposed to do it in terms of pi, so it's 288 pi meters cubed. In B, same problem. I want you to do this on your own, and do C as well, and see how well you do, and turn on the video and see how, and check your work, and see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong, and if you have questions, make sure you talk to Bloom. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully things are going well. You got volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. You plop in that r is 5, and you're able to evaluate. Now this one, because we're doing in terms of pi, we do it as a fraction, 500 pi over 3 meters cubed. If you have questions on how to set that up, you can talk to Bloom, but it opens itself up because 5 to the third is 125. 4 times 125 is 500, and so that's 500 pi over 3. In letter C, we have a diameter of 60, so its radius is 30. So I've got to do that work, and there wasn't any diagram, so it makes it a little harder because I've got to know what all the information means when they hand it to me. 4/3 pi 30 cubed. Pop that in my calculator, got 36,000 pi inches cubed. Okay, now just like we did with surface area, we're going to be solving for something that's missing. Now let me clean these up a little bit, but once you have the radius, you can find the volume of a surface area of a sphere. That means if you have volume, you can find surface area, or vice versa. If you have surface area, you can find volume. Okay, but you have to solve for r first. So the volume of the sphere is 5,000 meters cubed. What is its surface area to the nearest square meter? Okay, volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now I plug in 5,000 for V, and I'm solving for r cubed. So I'm going to multiply by 3 over 4 pi to clear out my fraction on the right. So in doing that, I really divided by 4 pi over 3. I have the result of 15,000 divided by 4 pi. I put that in my calculator, and I come up with 1,193.66. I take the cubic root of both sides, and I leave this value in my calculator. This is my r. I am now, and in order to do that cubic root, to use my calculator, I can put 1193.66 and raised to the 1/3 power like this, and it'll return my 10.6078. Use your 10.6078 as radius in surface area to find the surface area of the shape that we're asked. So 4 pi times 10.6, remember this is all in the calculator, so I'm just truncating this value 10.6078, and it comes out to 1,414.046 meters squared. But they asked me to round to the nearest square meter, so that's why it's 1,414 meters squared is my final answer. I'm asked to do it again in 6, so not like you to do it on your own first. Same method, same process, same steps, just different numbers. Okay, give it a try, trying to emulate what we did in 5, and see how well you do with it on your own in 6. Okay, welcome back. Again, I start with a volume, so I got volume. I plug in 4,200 for V. I multiply by 3, divide by 4, and then I divide by pi, and I'm here. I take the cubic root, and I'm here. At this point, remember this is algebra, so if you have any questions on the steps, we've got to talk. But you have a radius of 10.0089. I take that radius and plug it in my surface area formula, and so I square that radius, multiply by 4 pi, and I should be able to achieve my final answer. Now they asked me to round to the nearest tenth, so I took it off my calculator screen and rounded to 1,258.9 feet squared. Hope things are going well. Sphere surface area and sphere volume are pretty nice things. You have to know the difference between area and volume and be able to grab the things you need and use them correctly. So if you have questions, talk to Bloom. The assignment is available in class. It's also online. If you're at home, you can print it off. Have a great day.